Sherry Lynn, are you
Hey.
there? Are you there, Miss Sixth Sense? Are you there?
Hey, yes.
How are you?
Good, Brett. How are you?
Excellent. No bad days, right? Why have a bad day when you have a choice to have a good day? That's how I look at it. I'm thinking you have the same. You have the same philosophy. From getting to know you and watching your post, you really do. And by the way, there's so much here to unpack. We could probably spend the next 3 or 4 hours on this conversation, but I want to kind of get right to the heart of it all. You are a medium and you're a
Yes.
psychic. You wear a couple different hats, right? So bring people up to date who are not familiar with what you do, and then we'll dive into this. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you. So just real quickly, so it makes easier sense for people to understand what I do. So I'm a medium, but I say psychic medium so everyone can understand a little bit easier. But all mediums are psychic, but all psychics are not mediums. So mediums, we just connect to the afterlife, to your loved ones who are in heaven, and also your pets. And then psychics, we just pick up intuitively your energy, also maybe situations that have happened in your past, maybe some stuff going on in your present, and even near future events that may happen for you within challenges in your life, relationships, your career, your job. There's just so many different areas that people will come to for that. So I'm here to help um, people understand about the afterlife, and I do both readings. I do mediumship and psychic, and I just started doing small group events as well for people. So that's a better understanding of what I do.
Right. That's what you do. Now,
Yes.
this is where it gets interesting because why you do this, I know your backstory. We've talked a couple times off camera, so I get to know your backstory. It's pretty intense. And for somebody who's been through so much trauma
Mm-hmm.
and life experiences, and somebody who was terrified of death. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
I
And
get all
now,
back now, but oh my gosh, yes, for absolutely. At such a young age, I was so terrified of death, but I also could sense energy, like we had talked about at such a young age. And I didn't quite understand what exactly it was. I could see energy a little bit, not as strongly as I do now, but when I was younger, I could, and just sense it and feel it really deeply. Also, people I would be around, family members, sisters, cousins, I could just pick up on challenges or issues that people were facing, if they were sad, of course, happy, or anything going on. And that's just a little bit how it was for me growing up. Yes,
and
absolutely.
yes, and your childhood, it was traumatic. I mean, mom was not in the picture.
Right.
Dad
Yeah.
commits suicide.
Yeah. Dad took his life. Yes. Mid when I was 25. Yes. Right.
Hmm.
Before I turned 25. So, yeah, it was very traumatic. And these events did start my spiritual awakening. So, spiritual awakenings, they happen differently for all of us, but especially if you are a medium, and especially if you do this work, mediums, normally it's normal for us to go through these type of situations, especially early on, because we are born this way, right? We just have to remember what it is that we're here for. But yeah, we'll have different visions, psychic visions, see auras. Some see shadows. That's what I see, which would be your loved ones and your pets. But yeah, so my childhood was pretty traumatic. And leading up to all of that, throughout my whole childhood, because of that, the trauma that I went through and experienced, I was strongly connected to the spiritual side, which I didn't quite understand, but I would see energy and just have this very strong knowing of things, and I was able to navigate through my traumatic childhood, like navigate my, emotions a little bit without having parental guidance doing it. And I was isolated a lot. So I was able to develop that deep connection with the spiritual realm.
Yeah. And and on top of that, you actually said as a little girl that you can pick up things. For instance, let's go to the back when your dad got remarried to his
Yes.
wife, and then you are how old?
So I was 4 years old when my dad remarried. So mom left. I was 18 months old. Dad finds new partner, falls in love. They get married. And this is, oh my goodness, this is when I really saw energy very clearly and felt that deep feeling. So we were at their event, their wedding, and I could see energy around her.
Mm-hmm.
Was just, like little orbs. That's what it was for me when I was little. And I just right away felt just the sick feeling come through my stomach. It just felt so negative and just so icky. I remember just that deep stomach ache that I felt, and I just felt this almost just like, oh no feeling, but I didn't quite understand because I'm only 4 years old. But that was my first very vivid memory. And also being in preschool and being on the playground and seeing this little boy, and we're just, like on the monkey bars playing, and I could see energy around him, and I just felt this really good feeling, just really just deep love, just really heavenly feeling. So those were my two memories of what, love felt like around good people, and then what the negative energy felt like.
Right. So you had a good connection towards the little boy,
Yes.
and then towards stepmom, you literally felt like this evilish kind of spirit about her. Yeah. And
Yes.
it turned out you were correct.
Yes. And it did turn out I was correct. I went through a long uh, childhood trauma with her. And yeah, it was really traumatic with her, and she knew the light within me, so it actually scared her. So that's why, a big reason why she treated me the way she did. And so it was really hard for my dad when he found out about that as well, because he didn't know. It was one of those very sneaky things. So, but during that time, I was so isolated from anyone. I was only allowed to go to school, come home. I couldn't play with friends, so I was isolated.
Mhm.
And I just really strongly connected with the divine, it was my guides that I was speaking with. But at that time, I thought it was my angels, because my dad did tell me. I remember telling my dad about it, and he was like, "Oh, Sherry, you're just talking to your angels." And so even just that little spark right there, I even hung on to that because my dad just, he validated that for me. He never told me I was crazy or anything negative. He was just, "Oh, those are just your angels," and I'm like, "Oh, it's so cool," as a little girl. So I would get so excited and giddy as a little girl. I'm like, "Oh, I could see my angels and talk to them."
But
And
did you, I mean, hold on one second. Did you tell dad the feelings you were having towards his new wife? If you're picking up these strong vibes as a 4-year-old girl, can you express that to your father in some way that he believes you, or is he's going to say no?
so I really don't remember if I ever told him about it. But as far as I can remember looking back, I never told anybody. I do remember just, being on the playground at school and asking my friends if they could see the little orbs and just the energy that I could see, and how sometimes it would be colored. And they would kind of freak out. They're like, "No." So, going through kindergarten, first, second, third grade, I had that experience and started to kind of develop this fear of people because I didn't understand why other kids my age weren't seeing energy or
Yeah.
feeling it like I was. And I just thought it was normal. So
And
then the
then,
bullying started. Yes.
so
Absolutely.
as you got older, did did you ever express it to him that I sensed this dad ever since I was a little girl? Because she turned out, like you said, she turned out to be, in your eyes, someone who a little evil, not really a nice person. But did you ever mention that to him later in life as you got older, reflecting back?
So I did tell him whenever I was 11. But whenever I was younger, I did not tell him, and the reason why I didn't tell him was because I was threatened, you know,
Bye.
to if I said anything or told anybody, it would be, not good for me. So I was absolutely terrified, and that's where also my fear developed of people because I couldn't understand why the people around me that were supposed to love me and take care of me were treating me this way. I didn't understand that, and I only saw my dad mostly in the evening because he was the only one who worked, and she stayed home, and they ended up having two kids themselves. So he was gone majority of the time, like 10, 12 hours. He did work a lot. So I would only see him maybe half an hour in the evening before bed
Hmm.
and a little bit more in the summer. And because we would, he had more time to take off from work. But other than that, no, I didn't tell him up until I was 11, until it got really bad, and people started to notice.
When you say really bad, what do you mean by really bad? Really bad with you and stepmom?
Yes, to the point where just the abuse was really affecting me mentally, physically. The school started noticing and just my behavior at that point, because from 4 years old up to at this point 11,
Yeah.
it was very traumatizing for me, and I struggled in school a lot. I couldn't hold
Focus.
friends.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to communicate with people. I just wanted to be in my own little bubble and my own little circle.
Did
Yeah.
she beat you? She beat you then.
Yeah, it was physical, verbal, yes, emotional, all that, yes.
Did you tell dad this was going on? Like this lady's beating me while you're gone at work 10, 12 hours a day? Did you let him know that?
I didn't tell him until I was 11, and that's
That's
when I was
that's everything came out. Everything came out then.
yeah, everything came out then, yes.
Ah,
And
gotcha.
my grandparents took me with them, and I lived with them while my dad still, was married to her and had my other two sisters, and so we were just separated. Yes.
Somebody listening right now, Sherry, say, you know what? My dad is married to a woman like that. She's abusive. She's nasty. She's evil. And they have resentment towards dad. In all the conversations I've had with you, I've never heard you say you were mad or angry at him. How is that correct?
That is correct. I will say uh, for a little while after he did take his life, I was angry. I went through an angry phase, being mad at him and even blaming him for what happened to me. Just my whole world, flipped upside down at that point. So at that point, I was a little angry, but just only because he had taken his life. But
Hmm.
I did not blame him, not one bit, for what was going on and for not knowing or for not, being there. I do get that asked sometimes, but there was just this deep love, I carry for him. And I did see him go through a lot myself, being so young, and just, I mean, having this understanding at such a young age and just being able to comfort him and hold space for him, basically. So him and I, we had this really awesome, close connection.
Yeah, you had said that you would go in his bedroom and he'd be sitting there with a gun in his hand. As a little girl seeing this, that was, I'm sure, frightening for you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely frightening. And he would, go through these bad periods where they would, him and his wife would be fighting really bad, just all of that. And he just couldn't take, because not only was I being abused, but she was abusive towards him as well.
So your real mom, your biological mother, leaves when you're 18 months old, and dad was heartbroken about this
Yes,
loss.
absolutely. Yes.
Right. Okay. So then he goes out and finds somebody who is now, I mean, abusive towards you. So don't you think that first of all, the loss of his love of his life leaves, and then, he probably, I'm gonna guess, never really recovered from that. Is that the feeling you got too?
Yeah. Yes. Looking back at everything and all that, yes, he didn't really take time to recover. And, just like a lot of us do, jump into another relationship and just hoping for the best. And, it just unfortunately turned out that way. And it was very shocking for him too. And for him to find out everything, and very hard for him to, just have to sit with it and everything. Yes.
As I'm listening to you, I feel the energy of what you're saying. I feel a lot of what you're saying, and what surprises me and impresses me at the same time is that you came out of it. I'm going to say you came out of it like pretty unscathed. Where a lot of people will be with that, and they would have lifelong issues because of the traumatic experiences that you experience, similar to those. You think that you would be wouldn't be as far along as you are. So what got you so far along as opposed to somebody who just got beat up by this thing and they said, fuck it, I'm out of life. I'm gonna spiral out of control. I'm never gonna get back on my feet. You made a different decision. So somebody listening right now is like, how the hell did she do that? How did you come out of such a traumatic situation, environment, experiences, and then to be doing what you're doing now is you're promoting love. I mean, I watch your videos, I see your post, I pick up on your energy. You're just not out there saying things. What you're doing is making a difference in people's lives. You did a 180. Okay, that's pretty incredible. Do you give yourself credit for that, or is it at a point now you just kind of take it for granted and this is just what you do? What does that feel like for you?
It gets me emotional actually right now, just hearing you talk about it. And yeah, looking back at it, I really do pat myself on the back. It took a lot, a lot of growth, a lot of healing. I went through my own darkness as well after, my dad committed suicide, and that triggered another spiritual awakening for me. And I went through my own toxic cycles. I started drinking a lot, and I just kind of lost my way there for a little bit. But after that, I had this love and this just deep burning passion inside of me, in my heart and in my solar plexus. I could feel it just brewing up, and it just never left me. And I always felt that as a little girl, just this deep, intense love that was so unexplainable, that I carried that no matter what happened to me, I could always come back out of it. And I had this deep knowing. So I did get help. I went into therapy. I started just reprogramming my whole mind because I went through so much trauma. Like I said, I didn't know how to hold friendships very well. I was terrified of people. I couldn't really communicate very well. But I just had this deep love for people. I just knew that people go through their own stuff, and it just means that sometimes they're hurt themselves. And with my stepmom, I knew she had experienced some things herself. So it was really strange for me at so young to have this, just knowing, this understanding that the way she was reacting to me wasn't, just because she just wanted to be evil or, bad or negative. It was just, because people go through trauma and end up hurting people when they're unhealed. So just looking back at that, I just was like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to turn into one of these people. I've already had these experiences. I've seen my dad go through this, and I don't want to end up like that. I was so terrified to end up being really bad and toxic like that. So yes, I got into therapy. I started healing, and I ended up coming across a medium, and that's when they were doing some energy work. So I booked a session, and that's when a lot changed for me. That's when I discovered my gifts. It was pretty much, validated and confirmed for me that yes, you are a medium. You're going to be doing this work. Everything that you've been seeing and sensing, feeling, hearing, smelling since you were a kid is absolutely real. And leaving that, oh my gosh, that session, it just completely changed my life. And I stopped drinking that day. Stopped drinking. And slowly, day by day, I just started to really understand about people, relationships, love, diving deep into my own soul, really unpacking my own trauma, my own fears, my limiting beliefs, my anxiety, my self-doubt, my not being confident. I didn't feel worthy. So I just really unpacked all of that and decided it was time to heal from this, because I wanted to really be who I am in this world and not waste my life, because I'm so connected to the spiritual world. I would be able to communicate with loved ones, and they would tell me that, you just have this one experience here in this body. So don't take it for granted. You can, if you truly believe you can heal and get through this and you want to be better, you can make it happen. So I've been on this healing journey for, my goodness, the past 15 years.
Yeah, it shows, because listening to you, picking up the energy, because you were somebody who was at rock bottom. You just shared a little bit of that story, but what you left out is that you were actually suicidal, sitting on the bathroom floor with a gun in your hand.
Yes. Yeah,
Some
I did hit that point too, because during my healing journey, I ended up in another toxic relationship, and I just was like, all right, this is just enough. I was just going through so much pain and trying to heal. And then I would kind of take a few steps back and then keep going forward. And I thought I was in a great situation at this time, had my son. And after I had my son, went through postpartum, and I had went through some similar abuse again. And it just triggered all of that. And I just sat there on the bathroom floor with that gun, and I was like, I just don't want to be here anymore. I'm just going through so much pain that I cannot physically take this anymore, and mentally, like, I just didn't know what to do. And I was crying out to God. I was like, help me understand, should I not be here? Because my whole life experience was very toxic, and I was always made to believe that I wasn't worthy, I wasn't good enough, and I shouldn't even be here in this world. And then I had this experience, and that is when I clearly was able to see my father, because it was I was able to very clearly see his spirit. not like when I was a little girl. I could see it would be like a quick glimpse, but now I can really see them fully body, just looking like how we're looking right here on camera, a little bit more transparent. But and we had a conversation. He was like, "No, we're not doing this. It's not time. It's not your time." And I just felt that love again. It was just that little, just that little spark was still there. I didn't completely lose it, and I just decided, no, we're not going to do this, because I had that experience and able to connect with him. And I decided to sleep it off. I got up the next day and started again to change my life around, because I had this knowing and this understanding since I was young, because I was connected to the spiritual realm, that if I wanted my life to change, I needed to change my thoughts. And I recognized when I changed my thinking that everything around
Everything
me
changed.
started to change. And
Right.
it would just like, oh, I just got the chills right now. And that's how I would just get like, oh my gosh, if I stop thinking this way, things start to slowly change. And that's how it was. One, it was baby steps at a time. I started to change, but yeah, I had hit that point, and it was terrifying. It was scary, and I really wanted to go back home, but I was like, no, it's not my time. There is a reason why I'm here. There's a reason why I went through all of these experiences, and then I really discovered a lot why.
That's amazing. So let's talk about this now. So you mentioned the word God. You meant you believe in God, but
Yes.
as a child, as a small child, you were introduced to God in a different sense than you experience God right now.
Oh, so yes, when I was a child, I ended up going to, I ended up in church. I went to Catholic church. So I went through the whole religion stuff, and it didn't quite resonate with me. So
Mm,
after some time, which that was great community for me, it really did help me a little bit to just have some positive people
Rounded.
around me besides my grandparents, to have, see good people around, that there are good humans
Mm-hmm.
around. Not all people are bad. So that was great experience for me. And then after that, then yes, I was introduced to spirituality. And that is where everything just really changed for me after speaking with that medium, because everything I was experiencing throughout my everyday life, she just validated. And she's like, oh, like it was just so easy. Like, oh yeah, you're a medium. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm a medium? Like, what do you mean? So yeah.
So looking not today, right here at this very moment, you can literally go into a grocery store. We had this conversation, and let's see, right, and then you actually literally see orbs around people
Yes.
to this day. Now listen, but hold on a second, because there are people who are listening right now, and you've experienced this, who think that this is not true. They're unfamiliar with it. They don't understand it, and they think it could be kind of hokey. And
Hmm.
and even further, there's people in your family who accuse you of being a devil worshiper. You
Yes.
get that a lot. With what you're doing, it's very deep. It's very unfamiliar, and unfamiliarity can cause skepticism because they don't understand it. Now, the person who's thinking that you are a devil worshiper, what don't they know about what you're doing that may have them seeing things differently?
So what I've seen, and just even like from my own experience, because when I didn't understand, I was terrified too. But I realized, well, what we don't understand,
We fear.
yeah, exactly. We, of course, we're going to be scared of the unknown. And So it was just me simply having the experiences, me starting to connect to the energy that I would see. You know, I was programmed as well to fear death, to fear if I did anything bad, I was going to burn in hell forever. So I started really tracking, like, I would have dreams, I would have these different experiences, and I really started just to see that they were real. You know, these experiences are real, and even people who are skeptical, they will have an experience with the other side. They may see a shadow figure, see something out of the corner out of their eye one time and kind of look and be like, oh, maybe they might feel or sense something in the room with them when they are alone. And that's because their spirits are with us every day, all the time. They're with us all the time. So yeah, I mean, I welcome that because I understand people are scared, and it's, you know, that's why I'm here, just to help people to understand based off my experiences and my connections to the spiritual side and my readings that I do for people. And of course, I don't know everything, but I just know what I'm allowed to know through sessions, through my angels, and through my spirit guides.
So when you, to clear this up, like when you're sitting down watching TV, okay, and you say, "Hey, turn the TV on," it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen like that. There's not you talk to dead people. That's basically what you're saying. You have an experience and a relationship with dead people.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot of question there's a lot of mystery to this, and there's a lot of people. Once you open that can of worm, once you have that start that conversation, there's infinite questions that come along with that, endless, because you're claiming to be having this super energy that most people don't have or even aware of. But you said something earlier that we all have it. Do some people just don't want to tap into it because they're afraid of what they might find? There's a lot of, again, there's a lot of fear in this. So if we just say, okay, no, that's just too weird for me. I don't want to know. I told you this the other day. My cousin back in Michigan, uh, my mother has a medium that she works with, and the medium said that her parents, my grandma and grandpa, my mom's mom and dad, are in the house that my mom grew up in back in Michigan. Well, when I was back there for the month of June, I stayed at that house. Okay, let me share this with you. There was a picture of my mom's dog on one of my grandmother's tables. And that picture, I moved that picture to the other side of the table because I had to plug in my Bluetooth speaker. I just moved the picture. That's all I did. The next day, when I woke up, that picture was on the floor.
Oh.
Now, I have no explanation for this. I don't know how that picture got on the floor. I have a video on my phone of what it looked like. I explained it in a video. The picture of the dog was on the little round table. I just moved it, and the rest of the evening, that picture was still there, solid, no problem. It was just there. I wake up in the morning, that picture somehow got off the table and on the floor. I'm the only one staying at the house. I told my mother this. I said, I woke up this morning, Mom, to something very interesting. And I showed her the picture. She goes, well, I did talk to someone, whatever the lady's name was, her medium. And she said, my mom and dad, my grandparents, are still present in that house. So I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting to me. I'm not shitting you. I moved the picture back to the original spot where it was. And then the next day or another day, I put it back because I had to get back to that area. That picture was back on the floor again. I have no idea how this is happening. Now, people looking at me like, oh, he's full of shit. He's just telling. No, I don't know how that picture got on the floor, Sherry. So when I share this with you, like my grandfather was a jokester. Okay. Something is he fucking with me right now? Is he like, this is the stuff that my mind's thinking of. Like, is he just playing pranks on me? Did he take that fucking picture and put on the floor? All these things are going through my mind. So I'm going to ask you, what do you make of that?
I giggle as you're talking about it. Just, I know it can be kind of scary for people, but for me, I get so giddy and giggly because it's your loved ones, your pets. They come to visit, and that's where too people will get scared because you can have a door open just a little bit, or maybe a light flicker, or maybe your TV just randomly just goes off, or maybe turns on in the middle of the night. There's so many ways they can influence electronics, electricity. I mean, our laptops, or anything around that will get our attention. And especially if they had those, jokester personalities and always mischievous, and they'll come around and they'll do that. And they're just trying to get your attention to let you know that, hey, the afterlife does exist. We are not just this physical body, we are a soul having this temporary human experience. And we're just here to have our human experience, and we will see them again. Just because our physical body dies here, that is not the end of us. And so they'll come right away after they transition to the other side to let you know that they are okay. And yeah, to start giving you signs and stuff like that. But they do get scared because, we're taught to fear it. We're not taught to connect to it, because I believe it would, it takes away our power. It takes away our divine connection, our knowing. And people heal from that. People that come, they get, not completely healed, but just that comfort, that sense of peace, just knowing, oh, okay, now I just need to connect with my loved one through energy now. It's just a whole different language. Just like when we have our pets, we communicate telepathically with our pets here on the earthly realm. That's just like how we have to learn how to connect with our loved ones in heaven. But they definitely come through just to do that, to mess with you. They'll leave coins, feathers, any little sign, just to get your attention, to let you know that yes, they are very, very much alive.
Present.
And
Very much present.
yes, very much. So they'll do stuff like that. Absolutely. Even your pets will come and, do stuff. Maybe knock dog food over, or spill water, or so. There's been so many experiences people have. But yeah, when people have this, they automatically get scared and think right away it's a demon, or it's the devil, or that. Listen, it's majority of the time it's not, unless you're on like haunted land, or some land that's cursed or something like that, or you bought a house that was full of trauma, or just stuff like that, where there's a lot of dark residual energy still left. But other than that, there's no boogeyman coming for you. So.
No, I wasn't. You're saying that, and I wasn't freaked out at all. But by where I'm currently at this point in my lifetime, I wasn't freaked out. I was kind of laughing, and I was having a good time with it. Now, there probably would have been time way back, like, oh, I'm in this house by myself. That's kind of weird,
Yes.
But no, but my brain does. But my brain has, starts going off, and my brain starts thinking, okay, what other stuff? If that's the real case, if that's what's really happening, then my brain creates this imaginary life and imaginary scenarios. Like, okay, what else are they? Let's say that you and I, hypothetically, all right, we're having a great episode of 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, here's how my brain works. Okay, we're having a fantastic time. We're hitting it off. We're going at it like two little bunnies in a wool sock. And all of a sudden, now wait a minute, your favorite person is your dad. This is how my brain works. Step inside my head for a second. Your favorite person is your dad. Okay, mine's my grandmother. The question I have is, are we really alone at that point? Because it's kind of awkward if I'm sitting there and Are they at the edge of the bed? Are they having a glass of wine? Are they watching the entire thing go down? That's how my fucking brain works. And I got to ask you, is that what's really going on?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And you know what, people, I get a kick out of this one. It cracks me up. But yeah, people ask that all the time, believe it or not, or even,
Yeah. Oh,
did he
good. I'm
do
not the
it
only
in the
one.
shower or on the
Right.
toilet? So I will. So whenever you have those experiences, or just like you said, the picture frame fell down, whoever you think of right away, or oh, that's my grandmother or my grandfather or my dog or whatever, who right away, whoever you think about, that's who it is. And you just stop and call out their name, and you could tell them, hey, do that again, or are you trying to connect to me? You just start making that connection. So and then when you're doing all that, I say, yeah, when you're doing your business or you're getting in the shower, or you don't want to have a visitation, just don't think about them. Because when you're doing that and you just have that random thought, you're gonna pull their energy into you. And they're
So now
gonna
you
come and be like, hey, you summoned me.
now you're having an audience and a performance, right?
I know. So yeah, people are
You're
gonna be
making
like,
porn.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
you're
don't.
having a great time. It's off the charts. You're making Pornhub look like the Disney Channel, and all of a sudden you got your mom and dad or your grandpa and grandpa in the next room. Like, I don't know about
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it's not
they're like, listen, child, I don't want to see that. So don't
right.
call
Maybe you
me.
can excuse yourself for 1 second. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask you this.
Oh
Okay, that's a
yeah.
little more serious here. It's all serious, but what I want to ask, people come to you, okay, and they want to know, but I'm guessing there's a part of them that doesn't really want to know. Like my cousin told me the other day when I was back in Michigan, I wouldn't want to know all that because I wouldn't want to hear the bad news. So when people come to you and they want to connect with the afterlife, there's got to be a level of apprehension that there's some things they may not want to know because they're fearful of what they may find out. Fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And in the beginning of sessions too, I always ask, their level of comfort, if they do want to know everything. Even if I get something that comes up that may be a little tough, or everyone's trauma is different, so I'll let them know ahead of time, like, hey, this can be a really tough conversation. Are you open to it? And if not, we just move on. Because the spiritual realm, when they come through, you and I, we don't control it. We don't control what spirit is going to come through, who's going to say what. They know on the other side what you need to hear. Maybe you need to a specific message or just some evidence to just know that, hey, this is real. This
Mhm.
is a connection. Even, like I said, with people being skeptical, I welcome them to come, because just having that connection and just seeing even one little piece of evidence, it will completely just open you up slowly and just change your life. But
So in other words, better question would be, have you had somebody who's passed away, share bad news with you about somebody who you're meeting with, but you held back because you don't want to hurt that person's feeling or freak them out? Has that ever happened to you?
yes, whenever I was doing like practice readings, I've had that stuff, like health related. Sometimes I will pick up stuff that can be health related, that maybe somebody needs to go get a checkup. Like I'll get someone's loved one, tell them they need to go get a checkup right now, something with their heart, or I can't diagnose anyone or anything like that. So sometimes I've had one incident like that, where I kind of just held back a little bit, but then I ended up messaging them later and telling them, like, hey, I felt this a little bit, and I was a little worried about telling you this just because of their
Mhm.
emotional state. But I felt they needed to know. And usually I tell people that, like I said, in the beginning of sessions, I ask them, is it okay, whatever spirit wants to come through and let you know, your loved ones, for your healing journey and for this time. If it's really tough, I'll let you know. And if you don't want to hear anything, you don't have to. But there's been stuff like that they'll guide me to let them know. And it's up to them, if what they do with that information.
Yeah, I just saw one of your posts, I think it was today. Somebody had said you told somebody had passed on and told you to tell this person they were about health issues, and that person responded, said it was actually true. Share about what was that?
Oh yeah, that was Carrie off my my TikTok live streams that I do. So I'll go on there and I sit with people. I just love people, and so I give them free readings and just let them get to know me. We get to know each other. And so with that individual, her mom had come through and she kept alerting something with her health. I can't remember exactly because it was, gosh, I do so many, so many people will come through on there. But yeah, she came through to let me know, hey, this situation ended up coming up in the near future. So her situation, it was not too long ago, and it was off the live stream, and her mom urgently was like, hey, go get this checked out, go get your health checked out. And I told her, I don't know what's going on, Carrie, but this is what's coming through, what you want to do with it, you take it. And so I'm glad she was able to catch whatever was going on. I'll have to catch up with her and get to see what exactly was going on with her health wise, but she let me know that. Yeah,
she did. Yeah. You so what is the hardest thing that you got from somebody who's passed away that you had to tell somebody here still living?
Oh man, it would be the hardest readings for me are always the child loss. Yeah, those ones are really, really tough, really traumatic, because it's hard, to understand. And a lot of parents, they will blame themselves a lot for accidents, accidental drownings, just things that have happened. And unfortunately, they've happened. And those ones really, really are really tough. And yeah.
So you had somebody that was in prison because they were filled with so much guilt about losing their child that he kind of went off the deep end and then wound up in prison. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that was a while ago. So I did, that session really stuck. One that really stuck with me for quite some time was someone who lost their toddler, and they just got into some bad stuff because they felt so guilty for the accident that happened. So yeah, I was able to do a Zoom session while they were in jail, just really sad, really depressed, and just having that little bit of connection and understanding about the afterlife, and that his child is going to visit him, and he was actually getting signs, but not really understanding that those are actually signs. People will get like maybe a feather or a coin or something, and they'll make the connection and then think, oh, this is just a coincidence. This can't be real. Yeah. So always too, when you feel that way, it's a sign. There's coincidences. No, there's signs from heaven. Absolutely. But yeah, that one was really tough. Yeah.
I'm sure it was, and they say coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. You ever heard that quote?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
I
it's been around for a while.
Because of my just me being a medium and just looking back at all of my experiences, and every single one I've had it was divine timing, and I was guided to certain people, certain places for my own growth. Yeah.
You and I had a little taste of that. I shared this with you already. You had texted me, hope you're having a great 4th of July weekend. And I literally had the phone, I was getting ready to say, hey, hope you're having a great. So that was kind of interesting there. That the little what do they call it? ESP, right? That
Yeah, it's
same
telepathic communication. So
telepathic
we're all
communication.
psychic. Like,
Yeah.
we're all born psychic. We're all intuitive. Not all of us are mediums, but all of us, we're going to have an experience. We're going to have, deja vu, those coincidences, those, meeting certain people where we just feel like we know them, but we just met them.
Yeah.
What people will see shadows. Everybody is going to have an experience from the afterlife. It's just making that connection and that awareness that this is what's going on. It's not anything to be terrified of, unless you're doing something bad. But other than
Right.
that, you have nothing to be afraid of.
Tap into it. So just by knowing you for the short amount of time I've spoken to you off camera, your magic dust has rubbed off on me. Now let me show people how this works. Okay, this is how good you are. I'm going to close my eyes here. I'm going to imagine you're having a beverage, and on that can there's a ghost. Now is there a can in front of you? Hold up your can. What do you have? What are you drinking?
Yeah.
Hold it up.
Right.
Hold it up. Oh my God.
Me too.
Yeah, just a heads up. I saw you drinking that before. Anyway, that's funny. I want to know, and I'm sure everybody else, people want to know, what do you do? This has got to take a lot out of you. What you do it can be draining, mentally fatigued. So, what is your method of recharging? Because every single day you walk into a grocery store, no matter where you go, you can't turn this off. It's who you are, and I'm sure it's exciting, but at the same time, it has to be sort of draining to be always in tune with other people. Is that fair?
Well, Brett, I'm always tired.
That thus you
Giggle
have the
about,
cat.
but
Thus you have the
yeah.
energy drink in your hand, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I giggle about it, but it's all really about having boundaries with the spiritual realm. I have very firm boundaries, but still, I will still see spirit. I will still see orbs. Like we talked about, I can walk out of my office, go to the grocery store. I want to just be a normal human being, get groceries, come home, make dinner. But, even though I shut the door off to the spiritual realm, somebody will still sneak in, or they'll just hop in my brain and make me, see something, or just, distract me, and I'll just kind of laugh and giggle. But it is exhausting. But once you really work with the energy and you find your balance, that's the magic there. That's the key for every medium, is just to really know your energy, take care of yourself and your energy, and just have that good, healthy boundaries, especially if you do mediumship work, because yes, you're at a higher vibration to meet their loved ones. So we meet in the middle, we have to raise their frequency, our vibration, and they come down, we meet in the middle and connect. And it is very exhausting. So I'm just very careful with my time. That's what I always say. I absolutely love everybody, and I wish I could spend, all day, every day with everyone, but I have to keep my good boundaries as well.
Yeah.
With
What is
clients and the other side and all that good stuff. So yeah.
What does your practices look like? What is your daily non-negotiables to keep that energy going, the recharging process? What's that look like for you?
Oh yeah, for absolutely, for me, it's get up in the morning. I meditate. It absolutely changed my life. So meditation, eating a lot better, really taking care of myself, because this is, I really appreciate my vehicle in this journey.
Mhm.
being here. So taking care of myself, eating good, exercise, absolutely. And just really staying in a positive mindset the best that I can and loving myself. I went from, complete trauma and just negativity and feeling so unworthy and wanting to leave this world to just feeling absolutely happiness and joy and just love for myself and for everyone. And I really truly am happy, now sitting here today, really happy and happy I get to do this work and very grateful. And I do it from my heart. And it was a long journey for me to get here, and I'm still learning and still growing. But that's the key, is love is the key, and it's living through your heart. Absolutely.
What you do, there's no gain for me saying that any of this, but I truly 1000% not only hear what you're saying, and Sherry, I talk to a lot of people. I come in contact with a lot of different people. There's very few people who have that energy that you give off. I mean, it's like there's no bullshit, there's no facade. It's pure, genuine love that you give off. I'm not just saying this, I'm feeling. But see, the thing by me saying this to you, this is no shock. I'm not surprising you.
Yeah.
I may be reconfirming what you already feel and what you already know, but as an outsider looking in, outsider feeling the energy you have, there's nothing. It's hard to find words to describe how much impact or how energetic that is on this side of it. And I'm just being completely honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, because that's my mission here, to anchor the world with more love and to help those who are struggling and help them journey back to their soul and heal and just thrive throughout this beautiful human experience we're having.
Gratitude is the strongest human emotion. We realize
Yeah,
that. And
absolutely.
gratitude is a foundation for, I believe, a life of emotional freedom. As we bring this in for a landing, what are the top 3 things you're grateful for right now today?
Oh my gosh, just for one, just being alive, being here, getting to be here and have this experience in this timeline. My family, I'm super grateful for my children, my psychic children, my grandchildren, my grandparents as well. And just grateful for everyone being here, for allowing me to share my gift with the world and for the world to share their love back with me. So thank
Pretty,
you.
yeah, you're welcome. You forgot your eyes. Those fucking eyes of yours, they really are ridiculously stunning. And I'm not just saying that. So your eyes are mesmerizing. Like, it takes me
Yeah.
back to when I was a kid. I'm a teenager. I had a girlfriend who had eyes like that. And I would just look at, like, they don't look real. The eyes really do not look real. So I hope that those eyes are on your list of things you're grateful for, because they are really stunning. Honest to God.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the divine eyes.
That's right. That's what they are. And there's a lot of warmth to those eyes. So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to tell people how they can find you, because they're going to want to reach out to you. They may want a reading. They may want to build, to hire, to what do you have, like sessions to be booked by hours, half-hour
Yes.
sessions? How do you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone wants to find me, you can find me on my website at mediumsherrylyn.com. I have hour sessions and half an hour sessions available, as well as small little events I put together for meditation for grief, where I connect you with your loved ones in a small, intimate group setting, and also for mediumship as well, and psychic readings. So all that's on my website. You can also follow me on all socials. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Medium Sherry Lynn or Psychic Medium Sherry Lynn.
Awesome. I love your energy. I love what you're doing. You are making a huge difference. And I love your story, because it is such a transformational story a success story. I mean, literally going from rock bottom to what you're doing now is nothing short of a miracle. So thank you so much for this. I really appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you, Brett, for having me, and appreciate your work too, as well, what you're doing, making a huge difference in this world. So I appreciate it.
Trying. Thank you. All right, guys. See you next time. Be fucking bold.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye.